The year of our Lord, 1998. StarCraft is released to the masses. You may have been a child, you may be an adult, you may have been a teenager. Any stage in your life, an amazing game was released, and it was incredible to behold. Now, StarCraft could have been quite a bit different game. Previous Blizzard games were quite a bit different, and StarCraft was really an engine in a way that seemed ahead of its time. It was much different than Warcraft 2, and it felt different. It played sharper and faster and wasn't a mere reskin of the engine that it probably could have been from Warcraft 2. Now, you don't know how fucking hard it was for me to find a fucking picture of this, but there was an incredible box that would fold open. I remember my young kid eyes looking upon this site and fucking losing my shit. This was an incredible discovery. And video games up to this point had only gotten so far for me. I was finally free to explore a sci-fi futuristic sandbox. 3 interesting races and a whole future to discover and behold. The box for the original StarCraft was fucking amazing, and I'll remember it forever. Forever, until I fucking die. I'll fucking remember that shit forever. I'm not gonna spend fucking the amount of money the original box requires. Now, StarCraft had a very interesting story. There was 3 primary races. I'm sure everybody knows the story. And the Zerg, Terran, Protoss were all so cool and so unique, and they definitely had that trope of sci-fi: the intelligent human, the ravenous alien, and the intelligent alien species. There's a huge amount of story to this game too. The single player campaign had you doing all kinds of shit, and they even have fucking expanded it a lot more, and over the years it'd be expanded so much. The art was amazing, and nobody can forget that fucking amazing book that came with the original box art that is so cool it's not even fucking funny. StarCraft would get an N64 port, which although felt a lot shittier than the PC version, was still noteworthy, and I actually had quite a bit of fun with this. You could play split screen, or you could just play it together, and it was a very cool experience to see this shit running on a fucking N64. It blew my mind as a kid, and it fucking blows my mind today, because StarCraft is just such a well-designed game. It just worked. Came out with expansions. The expansion set was fucking cool. It came with all new units and all new shit to explore. New maps, new environments, new story, new everything. It was a perfect expansion. And for those of you who remember, expansions used to mean something. They weren't just fucking DLCs that fucking cost a lot of money and shit. This was a real addition to the game, and this took it to the next fucking level. Shit was now super cool, and you were locked into this story in this universe, and we'd give many people years and years of entertainment. The lore, it just keeps getting cooler. And even though it's changed significantly, there's still that old school StarCraft that's so fucking cool, and everybody remembers it. The dirty dankness of some of the start menus, how they converse with each other, how you could use the map editor to create your own stories. You could fucking do all kinds of stuff, and it really expanded your mind about this sci-fi future that there could be. And StarCraft came out with something really cool. It had BattleNet. BattleNet was in some of the other Blizzard games, but I remember spending time on this and chatting with a person from China or Korea or something, and it blew my fucking mind. Now, Blizzard kind of has its thing right now. I'm gonna go over just general Blizzard right now, because Blizzard is really taking the cake, and their fucking bullshit that just keeps continuing, and all the love for World of Warcraft and all the love for Blizzard in general is seemingly getting shat on nowadays. So Blizzard was once on the top of their game, and this is what this is basically focusing on. But you'll know all about the remakes of the 3rd game. You'll know about the Overwatch controversies. You'll know all about the Diablo Immortal shit stains that's going on right now. But I mean, Blizzard is still kind of has their peak in their older games. I mean, their solid franchises will just never really die out. I mean, they can do whatever they want to it, but they'll never fucking kill the old games. Well, at this point, it was inevitable that StarCraft was going to get a sequel, and our mind definitely went to places to try and figure out what it would be. I mean, if they fucked this up, it would be terrible. And there's seemingly at the time no way they could fuck it up. But then again, the question still remained, what was StarCraft 2 going to be like? The original was such a classic and household name by this point, and for many, many, many years, StarCraft had just kind of remained in the ethos of just an amazing classic RTS. And the sequel was inevitable, and it had to come out, and it had to be there, and our lives had moved on slightly since the first game had come out. And then boom, all of a sudden, 2010, StarCraft 2 came out. Pretty amazing trailer and a pretty amazing look to it. It really, really recaptivated us quickly. And when it came out, I remember getting it for the first time, being a little bit skeptical, but then just falling in fucking love with Wings of Liberty when it first came out. Now they did it in 3 sequences. They were going to release the Protoss campaign and all the things, the Zerg, and then the Zerg and the Protoss, and they were going to do it in a multifaceted way, which is always the smartest way to release a game, to really take their time with it and make it solid. And after many, many, many years and many, many updates, StarCraft 2 slowly built its way up to being something truly, truly amazing. And as the esports grew and grew and grew in popular culture, so did StarCraft along with it. And StarCraft 2 was fucking amazing. And nowadays, when you come to it, there's just so much shit to do. I mean, you could literally go on and on and on and on about all the shit you can do. The custom campaigns, the arcades, the competitive nature, the co-op campaign, the new stuff they've added, even recently to this day. And all the amazing community members along the way who have created some truly spectacular things using this engine. And StarCraft 2 is one of those games you kind of always is in the back of your mind. It's always there. It's always there to come see, and it's just a truly AAA masterpiece. I know that Blizzard gets a lot of shit on them these days, but there's one thing that they need to pat on themselves on the back of, and possibly even go back and kind of really have a look at what really worked, and StarCraft was one of them. They tried to release Hearts of the Swarm, they tried to do all kinds of stuff with it, but ultimately StarCraft 2 is just amazing. It's peak StarCraft. It's as good as StarCraft could ever get. It was the natural evolution of the original StarCraft. It was a complete convergence. And in many ways, the game is a lot about evolution and aliens and all kinds of fucking shit. But in many ways, StarCraft 2 kind of slowly evolved to being this just beast, this just amazing creation that is a great game. And it is a solid 10, because it's as good as it could ever be. I mean, there's really nothing more about StarCraft 2. I feel like it's better than what it should be in many ways. And although it's a mainstream game and a mainstream esports competitive game, it's worth sitting back and mentioning that StarCraft 2 is just fucking amazing. Just an amazing trip. Trying your hand at the competitive scene and getting your ass absolutely fucking handed to you was a rite of passage, and it was almost enjoyable just to see how other players could kick your ass so badly, and it's not even funny. You kind of got through a point where you almost wanted to see, just to see if you could do better. Now I know there's matchmaking and all that shit, but ultimately everybody has a memory of getting their ass handed to them in both StarCraft and StarCraft 2. And most games on multiplayer is this, but particularly you feel it in StarCraft, because you spend all this time building your bases, thinking that you might become a competitive E-star, and then all of a sudden they just fucking rush you and kick your fucking ass into the thing, and sometimes troll you. That is a popular memory with StarCraft, and one I'll hold and cherish for many, many years. StarCraft 2 today is fabulous. There's all kinds of shit to do, and if you're not into the competitive scene, there's all kinds of fun and side activities and just general ways to explore this incredible sci-fi experience. The ambiance of all the lighting and the effects and the UI just blend so nice together, and it's almost just a pleasure to watch this all unfold. The physics are nice, the graphics are nice, the environments are nice, and just generally it's just an amazing RTS game. You can really immerse yourself in it, even if you're not into the competitive structure. And there's certainly lots of fun to be had in StarCraft 2 amongst your friends. You can just simply boot up a game against the AI and do whatever you want to do within this game engine. They've really mastered this, and this is the perfect RTS game. Even though the older games are nice to go back to and are super classics, this is StarCraft in its most ultimate form. And nowadays, fucking StarCraft is just as popular as ever. StarCraft's just such an incredible adventure, and the world and characters are so iconic that you really hope that Blizzard doesn't end up fucking this up somehow, although I don't think that they can trample the legacy too much. I mean, they've been fucking up with Diablo and all this other shit they deal with, but, you know, all in all, it's we're still pretty safe to say StarCraft is under wraps. My only biggest thing is they're gonna try and do something with this Nova, and it's gonna suck. You can already see it a little bit in this StarCraft, but yeah, I mean, StarCraft's one of the top games, and it's impossible not to admit it. It's really an amazing adventure. Now, in my opinion, one of the coolest aspects of StarCraft 2, that'll be the final note in this game, is that there's a whole custom user-built maps and mods and all kinds of features. It's really insane to see. And to truly just to go on here and try a few of these out with your friends, you literally have nothing to lose. And you'll spend hours doing these cool little missions and side missions and complete total conversions. It's like playing a whole other game within the StarCraft engine, and the modders that have built this have done an incredible job with some of this stuff. I mean, they really took a game that was just a game and used an editor and built their own game off of it. In many ways, this is probably one of my favorite features, although you can in the custom melee matches, you can do all kinds of mod features added to the melee maps. So you can play as custom races, you can play as things like zombies modes, all kinds of stuff. So it's really a game that has so much more to it than meets the eye. It's really a game within a game. And StarCraft 2 is always going to be a good one to come back to. I mean, there's new mods on this that I'd seen after playing it, not playing it for a couple of years. New stuff, all new stuff. And I mean, well, now I think the question is, will there be a StarCraft 3? Can you really top this? I mean, the graphics are a little dated and it's a little old, and I suppose they could do a remaster of some kind. But really, StarCraft 2 is a perfect game. It's solidified itself on the competitive scene, and it's an all-in-all great game, even for a casual player. You can really just jump in and try a whole bunch of cool stuff and see what you get. It's truly a hallmark of the gaming sphere. And you always wonder yourself, what is a really good RTS game that you can just go to and you know it works and you know it's good? StarCraft 2 has you covered. StarCraft the originals will be fun always to go back to for nostalgia, but in terms of gameplay right now as is, StarCraft 2 is where it's at. It is a sick game. And it will probably be a sick game for a long time. It's one of those games that not many people choose to review because it's just StarCraft 2. It's just it's as good as it is. It's a fucking really cool game, and it looks really neat, and the things that you see in it are flashy and cool, and it's satisfying to watch all the units bleed apart as you rip through them, and it's satisfying to see all the cool futuristic tech that different races have it. Now, the last note is, could they make a movie? Could they adapt this to TV and film? I think they could. I think they could make an amazing thing. But will they? No. They'll probably fuck that up too. But if I was this director sitting in the director's chair, I could make a sick-ass StarCraft movie with today's graphics and whatnot. It'd be amazing to see these world and universe come to life. And I remember watching the CGI cutscenes from the original StarCraft, and I just thought it was so cool because I love future and I love fantasy. And I love futuristic fantasy. So yeah, there you have it. StarCraft, an amazing experience throughout the years. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but StarCraft is one of my favorite games of all time. I'll never forget as a kid looking at the fucking box art and losing my fucking shit. Now enjoy some StarCraft fucking insanity.
Oh, what are we seeing? I can't believe what I... Schöne Vorzieher, da kommt die Ball. What insanity!
Therefore, we decided and found in favor, under summary trial of Kespa StarCraft Code Section 13, that Jaedong appeared to be in the lead. What?
Oh my god. Oh
my god.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god. If this wasn't crazy enough. So am I reading you right, Moltrap? They're giving the game to Jaedong?
Someone's game crashed, I think, or something like that happened, and the game was lost. And they reviewed the situation and decided that Jaedong was in the lead and awarded him the game.
Just witnessed. Can you believe? Keeps his dream. We are finally here at the Intel Extreme Masters